I'm sitting at our sleek, glass dining table, flipping through the recent bank statements. The numbers don't add up. My mind races as I trace the series of withdrawals and lavish expenses that seem foreign to our usual spending habits. I've been noticing a steady drain on our joint account, but today I decide it's time to confront Sam. It's a chilly Thursday evening, and the room feels colder as I hear the front door click open. Sam walks in, her presence filling the space with a mix of her floral perfume and the cool air from outside. "Hey," she greets casually, dropping her oversized designer bag on the chair. "What's all this?" She gestures towards the papers sprawled before me. "We need to talk about our accounts. There's a lot of unusual spending. Can you explain these hotel charges and these gifts from high-end boutiques?" I ask, my voice steady but firm. Sam freezes for a moment, her eyes darting away before meeting mine. "It's, work-related. You know, client meetings and all." She attempts a dismissive wave, but her voice betrays a hint of nervousness. "Sam, we've been married for 7 years. I think I know what's normal for your work. This isn't normal," I press, my fingers tightening around the statement. The silence that follows feels heavy, laden with unspoken truths. Finally, she sighs, sitting down across from me. "Look, I didn't want it to come out this way. Yes, there's someone else." The admission hits like a punch to the gut. "Someone else?" My voice cracks slightly, the words tasting bitter. "Yes," she whispers, looking down at her hands. "I met him at a conference 6 months ago. It wasn't planned. It just happened." I push back from the table, standing up to pace the room. Anger, betrayal, hurt, emotions churn inside me like a storm. "And the money?" I ask, struggling to keep my composure. "It was for trips, gifts. I thought I could keep it separate from us. From our life," she says, her voice low. I stop in my tracks, facing her. "You thought wrong, Sam. You've not only cheated on me, but you've also lied and stolen from us, from our future. How could you?" "I'm sorry, I really am. I never wanted to hurt you," she reaches out, but I step back. "No, Sam. Sorry doesn't cut it this time. It's over." The finality in my own words shocks even me. But I know it's the only way forward. The betrayal is too deep. "Please, let's talk about this. We can go to counseling." "We can try," she starts, but I cut her off. "It's too late for trying. You made your choice, and now I've made mine," I say, my voice cold and detached. "I'll be contacting a lawyer. I think it's best if you find somewhere else to stay tonight." She stares at me, tears brimming in her eyes, but I feel numb. The woman in front of me now is a stranger, not the woman I married. I watch as she slowly gathers her things and leaves. The door closes softly behind her, and the silence of the house wraps around me like a shroud. Alone, I sit back down, my eyes fixed on the empty chair across from me. Betrayal has a price, and I'm determined to ensure that Sam pays hers in full. The wheels of revenge begin to turn in my mind. No more Mr. Nice Guy. It's time for retribution, and this is just the beginning. The morning light barely filters through the blinds, casting long shadows across the living room where I stand, my phone in hand. I dial the number of a private investigator I found online last night, after hours of pacing and plotting. The phone rings twice before a gruff voice answers. "Harrison Investigations, how can I help you?" "My name is Jack. I need to find out everything about a man my wife is seeing," I say, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside. "Understood. Do you have any details on him?" "Name, last seen, anything would help," the investigator replies, his tone professional, yet sympathetic. "His name is Eric Foster. I have some receipts, hotel bookings, and pictures of them together from her phone. I can email everything to you," I explain, already scrolling through the damning evidence on my computer. "Good, send that over. I'll start with what you have and dig deeper." You'll have a comprehensive report by the end of the week, he assures me, and we hang up. As I send off the email, a plan forms in my mind. It's not just about exposing Sam and her lover, it's about reclaiming my life and dignity. I spend the next hour making phone calls to my lawyer, my bank, and a few close friends I trust. By lunchtime, I'm standing in front of the bank manager's office, ready to seal off any further betrayal. Mr. Thompson, I'm here to separate my accounts and ensure that my soon-to-be ex-wife has no access, I tell the bank manager, who nods understandingly. We can set up new accounts and transfer your funds today. Your assets will be protected, he says, tapping away at his keyboard. As I leave the bank, my phone buzzes, a message from Sam, can we please talk? I'm sorry, Jack. Please. I type a reply without a second thought. Talking time is over. You'll hear from my lawyer. I hit send and turn off my phone. There's no turning back now. In the afternoon, I meet with my lawyer, detailing the events and providing him with the evidence of the affair. He listens intently, his brows furrowing with each document I hand over. We have a solid case for a divorce without any liabilities on your part. Considering her infidelity and the financial deceit, it's straightforward, he advises, his words cold and clinical. Thank you, I want this over with as quickly as possible, I reply, my resolve hardening. That evening, I'm back home, alone in the quiet. I sit at the kitchen table, the same place where Sam and I would share our days over dinner. The silence is deafening. My mind races with what the investigator will find, what dirt will come to light. I pour myself a drink, the first one since this whole mess started. The whiskey burns down my throat, matching the fire of betrayal in my heart. I know this is just the beginning. Sam and her lover will have their lives turned upside down. I'm making sure of that. And as I sit there, sipping my drink, I realize this is not just about revenge. It's about setting things right, about reclaiming what's mine. My peace, my respect. The night grows deeper, and the house feels larger and emptier. But inside me, a plan is building, taking shape. Tomorrow, I start gathering more evidence, tightening the noose. This chapter of my life will end soon, and I will be the one to close it. As the early morning mist clears, I park my car across the street from the boutique hotel where the investigators report last spotted Sam and Eric. I've decided it's time to face them, not just for the sake of confrontation, but to assert my control over the unraveling situation. I spot them at a small cafe adjacent to the hotel, laughing and seemingly carefree. My grip tightens on the steering wheel as a surge of adrenaline pulses through me. I take a deep breath, step out of the car, and walk determinedly across the street. Sam spots me first. Her smile vanishes, replaced by a look of utter shock. Eric turns to see what caught her attention and his casual demeanor drops instantly. Jack! What are you? We need to talk, I cut her off, my voice calm but carrying an edge sharp enough to slice through the tense air. Eric stands up, positioning himself slightly in front of Sam, his posture defensive. I think you should leave, he says, attempting to sound authoritative. Ignoring him, I focus on Sam. I trusted you. We vowed to stand by each other, and this is how you repay me? By stealing and lying? Sam's eyes well up with tears, but her voice is steady. Jack, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. I didn't mean for things to get so complicated. Complicated? I scoff, the bitterness evident in my tone. You call destroying our marriage complicated? People at nearby tables begin to notice the altercation, their murmurs growing louder. Eric looks around nervously, likely aware of the unwanted attention. This isn't the place for this, Jack. Let's talk somewhere private, Eric suggests, trying to regain some control. No, Eric. You've done enough talking behind my back, I retort sharply. Then, turning back to Sam, I add, I've seen the bank statements, the gifts, the trips. How long did you think you could play me for a fool? Sam lowers her gaze, her voice a whisper. It wasn't like that, Jack. It started as friendship and just went too far. Save your excuses. I've heard enough, I say, my voice rising with my anger. I want you out of the house by tonight. And Eric, stay away from me and my family. I turn to leave, my heart pounding, but not before I see the stunned faces of the other patrons, witnessing the collapse of my marriage in real time. Back in my car, the gravity of the confrontation hits me. Despite the public spectacle, a part of me feels liberated, the truth out in the open. But this isn't the end. It's merely the beginning of the end. As I drive away, my phone vibrates with a call from my lawyer. Jack, good news. The divorce proceedings can be expedited given the circumstances. We can move forward as soon as you're ready. Proceed, I reply without hesitation, my voice firm. It's time to close this chapter of my life for good. The call ends, and I'm left with the road ahead, both literally and metaphorically. The pain of betrayal still gnaws at me, but now, there's a clear path to recovery and retribution. The future awaits, and I am ready to rebuild, no longer shackled by deceit but empowered by my resolve to forge a new beginning. The day of the final court session arrives with a grey, overcast sky, mirroring the turmoil inside me. As I step into the courthouse, a plan meticulously crafted over the last few weeks pulses through my veins, ready to be executed. Today, Sam and her lover Eric will face the consequences of their betrayal. Inside the courtroom, Sam looks pale and anxious, a stark contrast to her usual composed demeanor. Eric sits beside her, his face a mask of arrogance that I'm about to shatter. I nod to my lawyer, signaling him to begin. Today's proceedings are not just about finalizing a divorce, they are the unveiling of my elaborate revenge. As my lawyer presents the case, detailing the financial deceit and emotional betrayal, I watch Sam's face drain of color. I've kept my ace hidden until now, a private investigator's report, complete with photos and video evidence of Sam and Eric's deceit, not just against me, but involving fraudulent business deals that Eric had roped Sam into. Your Honor, we have evidence showing Mr. Foster's involvement in illegal activities, which Mrs. Thompson was unknowingly a part of, my lawyer states, handing over the documents to the judge. Sam turns to Eric, her eyes wide with shock and betrayal. Eric, what is he talking about? Illegal activities? Eric's composure breaks as he whispers frantically, trying to assure her of his innocence, but the panic in his voice tells a different story. The courtroom buzzes with whispers as the judge reviews the documents. This court will recess for today. I advise the defendants to consult with their legal representatives immediately, the judge declares, slamming his gavel down. Outside the courtroom, Sam approaches me, tears streaming down her face. Jack, I didn't know about any illegal stuff. You have to believe me. I was just in love with him, that's all. Love? I spit the word out like it's venom. Your love cost us everything, Sam. Now, you'll lose much more than just a husband. As she sobs, pleading for my forgiveness, I walk away, the sound of her despair echoing in the hallway. My revenge isn't just about making her pay, it's about exposing her and Eric for the frauds they are, ensuring their social and financial ruin. Over the next few days, the news breaks. The story of a local businessman and his lover caught in financial and marital fraud makes headlines. Sam and Eric's reputations are shredded, their professional lives in ruins. In the final stroke of my plan, I make sure that every mutual friend, every business associate, and every family member learns of their betrayal through anonymous messages and emails filled with evidence from my private investigator. Isolated and despised, Sam and Eric are left to face the fallout alone. Months later, I stand by the ocean, the waves crashing against the cliffs, a symbol of the turmoil that has finally settled within me. I've sold our house, donated much of what Sam loved, and started anew in a different city. The fresh breeze off the water is cleansing, washing away the remnants of a past life filled with deceit. As I look out over the horizon, the weight of revenge lifts, replaced by a sense of peace. Sam and Eric are a distant, bitter memory, and as the sun sets, I turn my back on the ocean, ready to embrace a future where betrayal is just a shadow of the past.